Hello, Star Wars unboxing fans. Welcome to another episode of Darth Tuba Star Wars Unboxing Show. I'm your host, Darth Tuba, and I have actually, well, 3 unboxings today, but 2 of them kind of I had to already unbox. So therein lies the tale. So here's what happened. So I have a porch. I have a front porch, like many people have front porches. And when Amazon deliveries or deliveries from other places come, they always come and they get dropped off on the front porch. And it's a good front porch. It's a lovely front porch. And it keeps things safe and dry for the most part. But when there is rain, and an excessive amount of rain, that is accompanied by a lot of wind, well, then the things that are in boxes that get delivered on the front porch don't always stay protected. So sadly, I had 2 Entertainment Earth boxes like this one, okay, that were sadly stuck out in the porch in an all-day rain. I did not realize they were there. I checked in the morning, they weren't. I checked the next morning, and they were. So somehow they got put in. Sorry for my buzz there. They got put on the porch, and without my knowledge, and sadly got pretty drenched. So thankfully, I didn't want to wait to do the unboxing. I wasn't able to actually record right then and there, so I quickly unboxed them and made sure that they were not damaged. And thankfully, Entertainment Earth, bravo, they keep the figures packaged well on the inside. Now, there's no protection. They're not put in a Ziploc bag or any kind of plastic protection. So if a box gets wet enough, the water will eventually seep through the cardboard, seep through the paper protecting it, and eventually damage the card. But in this case, one day of rain and wind and kind of getting somewhat drenched was not enough for it to get damaged. So the 2 boxes that were they're very much like the one here. The first one, the unboxing came, and we have, yes, I think this might be my first Andor vintage collection figure. This might be, I believe this is my first Andor logo. I want to talk a little bit about that. First of all, this is VC261. This is Cassian Andor. Okay, obviously, new, same, they have this facial scanning sculpting now, and it's a beautiful looking figure. I love the jacket, the belt, the inner tunic. So, just a gorgeous figure, very different from the Rogue One Cassian. They've had some major improvements in figure design since then. So I'm really happy with it. But I got to talk about this. I am so loving that Kenner has, Hasbro, has utilized the style of using the Star Wars Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi kind of mini racing stripe, and have added all the different movies, TV shows, everything to the line. So there just there's just a nice continuity with it. I absolutely love it. And this is pretty much the only line that I am still actively collecting. I have kind of stepped away a little bit from Black Series. Not to say that I'm not collecting Black Series. I think what I've decided among Black Series, which I'll get to in a minute, a little more detail, is to just try to find and track down new figures, new characters, new sculpts, things that are new that aren't repaints and repacks and things like that, carbonized and stuff. So but I'll talk more about that later. But depending on what this figure is, well, we'll see. So this is Andor VC261. Again, the card survived the deluge of weather, and it will be placed prominently up. I don't know if you can see it. I have a little bit of the original vintage, not original, I mean the 2007 start of the vintage collection hanging right there, you can see, right? So that's only a small amount of it. I have rafters in the next room, and they get kind of placed there. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. I don't plan on keeping the vintage collection figures forever and ever. I think at some point there will be a time where I decide to, if Hasbro decides to end the collection, then I might try to complete it and sell it off as one collection at some point. I don't even mind if I don't make all my money back. I just, I know there are probably collectors out there that would love to, that missed their chance to do this. And I've loved having it in my collection. And as I've been saying, I've taken a new approach to collecting. I'm no longer about having to have every single thing. I'm no longer a completist. I have a much more, quality over quantity in my brain. And but I do enjoy collecting, and I do enjoy displaying these as they come for a certain amount of time. Could be a year, could be 5 years, could be 10 years, could be 20 years. Who knows? So we'll see. But if I can find a good way to display them, but the one thing I will not do, I've said this on previous episodes, I will not put figures in boxes and drawers and put them away in storage. That's not what I do. These are meant to be shown at the very least, and I want to do that. So this is the first one. The next figure that has come is also an Andor figure that, again, came in a soaked box, and I was happy to get it, to rescue it before it seeped through, and that is Vel Sartha, which is Andor. Again, you get the same logo. This is VC 262, so 261 or 261 and 2. Smaller figure, obviously a little more petite character, but it comes with the rifle. Comes with just the kind of the tunic / sweater, and riding pants and riding boots, and just a great character. I look forward to seeing what happens. Of course, Mon Mothma's cousin, I believe. So a pretty cool storyline there, and some great posing. These are some great throwback figures. Throwback to the original, because I think it's also partially that they actually lead up to what we know as the original trilogy. So it's a pretty cool thing there. I just want to point out, too, the 8 figures on the back. I'll kind of put it towards you, and I'll read this one. Okay, so what do we have here? We got Darth Vader, The Dark Times. We've got Obi-Wan Kenobi, Wandering Jedi. We've got Klatooinian Raider. We've got Luke Skywalker from the Imperial Light Cruiser, his Mandalorian appearance. We've got Cal Kestis, his little droid. There's Cassian. Then we have the Artillery Stormtrooper, which I think I got in the previous episodes, and Vel Sartha. So those are, a nice representation of figures. I'm not, unlike Manny, I'm not angry or aggravated at Hasbro for, having to make cost-cutting measures. A business is a business. I work in education, and we're always asked every year to do more with less. So it's not something that I should expect to be different. Now, I recognize the legitimate complaint that it just seems like the people at the top, the shareholders, the highest shareholders are the ones making the most money, and everyone else has to suffer, and I understand that. But I also think that the whole collecting genre is evolving. It's evolved for the past 50 years, and I think that, it's just important. Just because nowadays we have an internet, kind of microphone that we can yell into, and so our voice can be heard, it doesn't change the fact that things are still evolving. So that's kind of where I am about it. So I'll see where things go with it. If they want to keep doing it. I will say I wish that they would. I do miss the days. I won't lie. I do miss the days when we used to be able to, watch a Star Wars movie or a TV show or whatever, and look at all the different characters that we see, even in the blink of an eye, and went, ooh, I wonder when that character is going to come out. But remember, we didn't really even have that back in the 70s and 80s. Remember the Grand Moff Tarkin figure that was never produced. We didn't get it until a few years ago, like a vintage style retro figure. So there have been characters, even though we saw a lot of characters, a lot of creatures, the creature cantina and all that stuff. There were a lot of people, a lot of characters. We never got General Dodonna. We never got any of those rebels that were sitting in there. We never got all the pilots. We got Luke. That was it. So, things evolve. So we'll see where it evolves to. All right, so this one was thankfully rescued from the porch before the rains came. Looks like we have another VC. This is VC 260. Oh, it's a twofer. It's a twofer. It's a twofer. Oh, no, it's a threefer. Oh my God, 3 in 1. Oh, that never happens. That never happens. A threefer. Okay. Stay calm. Stay calm. Remain calm. This is a 3-figure in one package. Something Entertainment Earth rarely does. So what I think I will do, I'm going to go in reverse order. So these are V62 and V61, right? Well, we're going to go with V266. This is the Klatooinian Raider. And this, by the way, is a Klatooinian Raider from Mandalorian, the ones that were, commandeered that AT-ST vehicle, the one where Mando and Cara Dune they pulled an A-team, where they trained all the villagers to fight for themselves. I call it the A-team episode. Such a cool one, right? And I'm loving this Klatooinian Raider. Just a whole different look. Obviously, this is not your Jabba's Palace Klatooinian Raider. No, it's a very different figure. And again, I'm sure the real figure nuts will I shouldn't say nuts. Passionate figure sculpting fans will be able to tell you these are the arms from this and the legs from this, and it's a rekit, rebash. There's a lot of new on this card. Okay, there's a lot of new in this figure. Okay, it's a brand new type of figure. And again, I keep these in their racing stripe cards. Why? Well, for one thing, I have so many loose figures that I don't really feel the need to keep adding loose figures. And I do love these. I love the carded figures. And again, here's that Mandalorian. We do have, of course, a few of these. I love seeing that. So that's just awesome. So there we go. This is, of course, the same 8-back that we had with these other ones. So we'll put them there. 265, Cal Kestis. There he is, Cal Kestis with his droid. What can I say? I don't play the game. So I would normally, I've actually canceled a few Black Series Cal Kestis. I think I have one. But I've started canceling my Cal Kestis orders because I don't have any emotional connection to Jedi Survivor or Jedi Fallen Order. I'm not saying that I don't think it's good. I've said it on the past, I'm not a gamer. So I do not have an emotional connection to this. However, I do feel like I would like to aim to be a completist when it comes to the VC collection. And I do have pretty much every figure in this collection, save for like one or two. So, Cal Kestis, okay. And the gaming greats that are coming out in VC format, okay, we'll continue to add them to the collection. But Black Series, that's what we're starting to pull back on. VC 264. Here it is. Luke Skywalker, Imperial Light Cruiser. There he is. How many people knew when did you know? Watching this episode, you know that somebody's coming. You know that something's going to happen, right? Let's take you back a few years to the end of Season 2, last episode of Mandalorian Season 2. Mando has, and Bo-Katan and Koska Reeves and Cara Dune and Fennec Shan have all, I think Fennec Shan was there, yeah. And yeah, because Boba Fett helped them out. They all went and infiltrated that light cruiser. They managed to get Grogu. However, Moff Gideon was one or two steps ahead of them because, you knew that Bo-Katan would have to fight for the Darksaber. We all know that. But they're getting, all of a sudden we're hearing the Dark Troopers approaching. We thought that they got, we saw how Mando had to fight one off and it was almost impossible. And then he got them all ejected into space. But they're Dark Troopers, so they flew back in. And there they are, trying to break down the door. And everybody knows that this is pretty much, like Moff Gideon says, everyone in the room will be dead but me and the child. So, yeah, this is where it's going. We know there's going to be a rescue. We know someone's flying in. And we hear single X-Wing. Is that when you knew? Was it the single X-Wing? Maybe. Could have been anybody else. Could have been Trapper Wolf. Could have been one of the other X-Wing pilots. Is it when you saw the hooded figure in the video? Maybe. Could have get a little closer. For me personally, it was right there, baby. It was the green lightsaber. Knowing the time, knowing this is right post Jedi, there weren't a ton of Jedi running around. It had to be Luke. It had to be Luke. So, but were they going to go all the way and show him? Was it going to be one of those kind of thing where they only show him from the side? You know, like the Superman cameo that you see at the end of Shazam. That's not really Henry Cavill, you know. So what are they going to do? And instead, what do? They whip up the foot. After the whole kick butt fighting, he whips off the hood, and there he is. I love that he comes with the blaster. Not just any blaster. He comes with the blaster that the Jedi Luke from was it Return of the Jedi or Power of the Force? I think it was Return of the Jedi. The Return of the Jedi collection back in 1983 or 84. He doesn't carry that weapon, but he did his figure carried that weapon, because in that one scene when he's confronting Jabba and he uses the Force and he gets the weapon from the one Jabba henchman and he held him. That's why they gave him a blaster, because he didn't have a blaster any other time in the whole movie. But they give him a blaster here. Some people probably get upset at that. I think it's awesome. I think it's great. Figure itself, you know, it's funny. Looking at the figure, there's definitely I'm enjoying this. He's kind of got a little bit of Anakin tunic going here. He doesn't have the same, you know, when I first saw him, I just assumed this was Luke Skywalker, Return of the Jedi Luke, exact same outfit, but no, it's not. His tunic is a little different, okay? You know, his cape is a little different. He's just a little shorter. So I'm loving it. Oh, this one, I may end up finding if I can. The game I play with myself is this. If I am, you know, I always check in Walmart. I always check in Target. They are starting to do a little better with getting VC figures in there. So if I actually see this figure in the wild, I might pick up another one so I can have an opener, because this is just a great figure. His face sculpt is great. I mean, they're obviously adhering more to the Mark Hamill likeness. It's a little bit more closer to Mark Hamill's likeness than the actual one that they did in the actual scene. I mean, obviously they had to do the whole technology thing with the de-aging and everything, but you know, and that first one was a little bit, you know, there was what they call the uncanny valley that you had to kind of, you know, process, but they improved on it in the, you know, Boba Fett Mandalorian's exit that we took for 2 episodes. So they did improve on it. So we'll see what happens. But fantastic. So 264, 265, 266, 261, and 262. Get them all together for my thumbnail, right? Here we go. There it is. A nice set of Andor, Mandalorian, and Jedi Survivor episodes. So cool. That'll do it for today's episode. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Check me out on Instagram and Twitter and all that other stuff. More episodes are coming. There's been I've had a lot of episodes in the can ahead of time, but now I'm kind of just going episode by episode. So I'll do my best to keep up with my Sunday and Wednesday drops. But in the meantime, like, subscribe, hit the notification button, do all that jazz. Spread the news about the channel. Check out all the other Red 5 Network podcast and YouTube channels. Until next time, may the Force and the toys be with you.